Okay, now that we've been through the crowd trainings project management course on direct and manage project work, let's go through and talk about the inputs, outputs, tools, and techniques of this process, and I'll do that with the sketchboard. First, of course, starting with the inputs, we have many different things that are going to, well, give us direction and what to work on, and obviously, or should be obvious of some sort, would be the plans. And I'm going to draw a big file cabinet to indicate that it's actually a bunch of plans. So the project management plan consists of all the things that we're planning to do and how and why and how come and how often, all those kind of things. So that's the primary one. And there's a ton of other documents and other materials that are going to help us and assist us, the risk register and all kinds of others. So that I'm just going to make as the project documents. And then you might have changes. Things throughout the project are going to change, and it's not just the change, but it's approved change requests. That's the major difference there, is that yes, things are going to change and you've requested them to change, but they have gone through whatever the change control procedures are for you and your project and the organization. So that's going to be an input. We'll also have change requests as an output, but those are the requests for it. This is actually the approval of them. They've gone through the entire cycle and have made their way back to us here as an input. Okay, also we have, or are a product of our environment. So our buildings, our cultures, the outside influences that we can't really do anything about, which is our enterprise environmental factors, or I'm just going to abbreviate as EEF. And maybe we have some binders and some binders and some other kind of materials, some templates and other things that we could use, and those are organizational process assets, or OPAs. All right, so that are the inputs. Now let's look at the tools and techniques. One, we have experts within our organization. They could be individuals, they could be teams, they could be groups. Maybe they've done it before. Maybe they have just tons of background or education that helps fit us into our subject matter expertise, but we just pretty much call it our expert judgment. Okay, so those people provide any kind of background knowledge, whatever things, maybe even you know what works, what doesn't work, as we're trying to manage the project. And this is execution. So when you're executing a project, obviously you're going to rely a lot on those performing the work and what they are doing and how they say. And so there's a lot of expertise that probably is at use. Also, you have to have a way to manage it all and keep track of it all. I'm just going to kind of draw a computer here with a bunch of maybe a program like Microsoft Project or some kind of other software like Smartsheets, whatever the case might be. But whatever it is, we just generally refer to that as your project management information system. So whatever system or systems that you are using to manage the knowledge and get all the data across. And of course, you have status meetings and updates and discussions and presentations and all kinds of other ways to help communicate. And that would be, of course, your meetings. Okay, so those are very simple, very collective tools and techniques. Now let's look at the outputs. With the outputs, well, you should have something to show for it. So I will just kind of draw something being delivered, maybe in a nice little box that is being delivered, and we've done it. We've done the work of the project. And so that whether it's a product, whether it's service, whether it's results, but something as your project moves forward is being delivered, and so those are our deliverables. Also, if you're not at an endpoint, you still have information about how things are going and the information about why and how come and all that kind of information, or what we just refer to as the data. So how is the work performing? So work performance data. And then we'll make sense of that as we go and in the other processes. But here, just that feedback, what that data points are. And if we are not completing things or we're just running into various issues, we can log them all in an issue log. That will help us keep track of things whether it's quality or whatever the scope might be as an issue or whatever. We're trying to recognize them, document it, manage it, and hopefully overcome them. And that could require some changes. So we might have a request for change, or just simply a change request. I ran out of room on my little paper there, but we detail what we think should change and why, and it goes through the perform integrated change control, and then it'll be looked, and as I mentioned before, it will be then part of our input once it's approved. Or also, if the information or things are moving, or how they're moving and why, well, that changes our plans, even if it's just updating that certain things have been done or haven't been done, or when they've been done, why they've been done, and by whom, and all these kind of things. And that could even impact the various different documentation that we have. And so those docs are also going to be updated, and we might learn something. Maybe the templates that we're utilizing are actually not good, they need to change, or maybe they are good and we just need to find a way to enhance it, or whatever the case might be. So those various different organizational process assets are going to also be updated. I'll make this a little better so we can see it. But all of those are your outputs, and collectively that is the tools and techniques and the inputs and outputs of the Direct and Manage Project Work in the 6th edition of the PMBOK. And that is part of your lessons here at the crowd training and part of PM City. All right. Thanks.